So what we decided to use to kind of highlight his past history to people was existing signage. And we wanted to kind of take you back to what a playful version of that signage would be in previous years. And we wanted to also play with having it be kind of a temporary thing and not on all the time. So we experimented with using ultraviolet paint and black lights so that it can only appear at night, like a ghostly image, and it can be controlled, so it can be like an event. And this is one of the most interesting ways, but we also are using regular old paint. And then finally, to add another depth to it, we are using QR codes, which are these two-dimensional barcodes that many camera phones can read. These are really popular in Japan, where they were invented, I believe, and a lot of phones nowadays come with these. So you just point your camera at it, and it will point you to a website, or you don't even need the internet. It'll just give you a little message. So we're using these to embed small, poetic, let's call it graffiti, in stickers around these signs that we made. So the stickers may be there all the time, and they may hint to people that something could appear there at night, or something is around the corner. And they're very durable. You can actually lose a part of it, and it'll still read the whole message, so it makes it ideal for outdoor environments. Okay, so I already touched on this a bit, but we are experimenting with different scales, from the permanent paint, nightly, where it may be like a UV paint or glow-in-the-dark paint, and momentary, where you may only see things if you're standing in a certain spot at a certain time. And we also wanted to have a range of participation from users. So maybe this is signage that people have to interact with daily, or maybe it's stuff in their environment in which they walk upon and may not even notice it right away. And as I mentioned before, this stuff that may just appear if you're in the right place at the right moment. And this kind of creates all these different levels of engagement that will keep people's interest going. And it can become more and more of a game as they try to find harder and harder things. So some of the permanent visibility stuff might be crosswalk signals, historical areas like the traditional market or the brick factory, just regular old signage. So a regular old pedestrian crossing becomes a fisherman's crossing. And this one would be accompanied by a QR code on the back or perhaps on the sidewalk that says something cryptic like, this is a nice place to cool your feet off in the water, because it used to be, so next. Then some of the nighttime visibility, this could be all along the old river road. There could be UV lights on the street lights or near the ground that could come on at a predetermined time. And so we tested this out, and it works really well even with a lot of ambient street lights. So you really do get this ghostly river kind of impression. So this could very easily become like maybe a monthly event, an arts event. People could participate. You wear white clothing, it'll show up really bright under ultraviolet, so it really encourages people to kind of add to this. Okay. And this is an example of adding to it. So this is another co-opting of signage, where we've replaced with a walking person with a swimming fish, or the stop the person with a scared crab. And then finally, the limited visibility stuff, where you may have to stand in front of a set of buildings, and the pattern may be on these series of buildings in such a way that you have to be at a certain angle to see it all, which you'll see in a bit. Okay? So it'd be like this, and then you would get some instructions from another one which would kind of make it all come together. That one's a really tough one. Or it may be embedded in a subway. So as you're entering Dage, this will be kind of like a welcome, and you have to be looking out the window at a certain time, and you may see some interesting animation. Okay? And then one thing we think is interesting about spreading this throughout the area is it'll kind of make people take these meandering paths as they find the next thing. And we want to kind of remind people of that kind of culture that the river gave, where life might have been a little slower, and you take your time to look at different things. Next. Go on. So one thing would lead to the other, and you might kind of fall deeper off the path into something else, maybe just as interesting. And we think this could get very big and very participatory. Next. And now a feature presentation. Next. Thank you. Alan, you have a press?
Where's the fish?
Critiquing, I guess.
We're having too much fun, John. No? No,
What are the comments I have? I was very dubious